Dax Shepard has no respect for his wife, Kristen Bell. From cheating on her to humiliating her in public, he has constantly tried to make himself look better by making her look worse. Even Kristen has acknowledged that they have screaming matches all of the time, and he's even joked about killing her. This is a deep dive into Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell's toxic marriage. So let's get into it. Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell have one of the most bizarre relationships in Hollywood. They are the opposite of couple goals. Honestly, they set such a bad example because the way they speak about their relationship is borderline abusive. Dax has absolutely no respect for Kristen, and it's clear. It's also clear that she resents him for this. So, today I want to go through some of their worst moments. Who would you like to see Kristen with? If you got to pick from every available bachelor, they don't even have to be available. They can be some taken ones if you want. Who would be your dream partner for her? Because I know you think she could do better, and I don't disagree. Who would be your pick? I don't know. I'm being self-deprecating right now. I just want to know who she thinks her dream catch would be. There's some people I have that I think are good. You've never thought about that? No. She's not sold yet on me. She's not sold yet. Well, you don't have the relationship. I don't have the talent of either of you guys. So, that part is. No, but the truth is I trust her. So you must have something that I don't see. Yeah, there you go. So Kristen and Dax got together back in 2007, but he had a little fling in 2009 and he was exposed for it in 2018. It looks like he had a fling with the step-granddaughter of Julie Andrews. Her name is Katie Edwards. The Daily Mail did an article about this affair that Dax had because at this point he would have been in a relationship with Kristen for about 2 years. Katie said, "I just want to set the story straight before someone else said something that wasn't true. I wish them to be happy. I hope they're happily married." Despite the story being like a decade old, when it made news in 2018, people were not happy. Kristen's fans criticized Dax for his actions, saying it was gross no matter what. Another person wrote, "I always thought that Kristen could do better. I always got a creepy vibe from him. Now it's understandable." Dax did respond to the article in his own way by posting on Instagram, writing, "Hey, Daily Mail, that photo is 13 years old, not 9. Also, Katie has sold stories to tabloids about Matthew Perry, Jack Osborne, Kid Rock, and now me. I look forward to her next one. Fingers crossed it's about my number one, Brad Pitt." Him confirming the timeline of the photos just makes him look even more guilty. He's pretty much confirming everything else they said in their article. And maybe Katie is messy, selling stories about a bunch of different people, but it seems like they're factual. But I want to go through more instances where it seems like Kristen and Dax just aren't right for each other. I don't know why they're even in a relationship. In 2020, Kristen opened up about fighting with Dax and said on the Life is Short podcast, "We had this pretty incredible fight recently." Incredible, like top of the lungs screaming. "It was about the things around the house that I felt like I needed help with." We have a relationship where you are supposed to be able to say, "I need your help with this." For those of you listening, I'm telling this from my perspective. He's not here. He can't defend himself. We talk about the fact that we do fight, we do go to therapy, we dislike each other a lot sometimes. Do you ever sit with that too long? That not liking each other? I would imagine that dissipates at a certain point. No. In fact, we had this pretty incredible fight recently. Incredible, like top of the lungs screaming. Can you talk about it? Sure, why not? It was about things around the house that I felt I needed help with. I left a note, and I was like, "Hey, Dax, would you mind taking the 2? I'm holding up 2 because that's how many there were. Towels in the dryer and folding them, and then one other thing, right?" And I thought, that's 10 minutes of work. I can say that. I left the note, and then I came home on Sunday. Everything was fine. Monday night, we're laying in bed and he turns over, and I can sense him like a puppy can sense when you're about to get angry. I can sense it in him 2 seconds before it happens. And he goes, "When you leave me notes, I feel really controlled." And he launched into how he felt about it. Yeah. And his nostrils flare. That's how you know he's mad. I said to myself immediately, Don't react. Don't react. Don't react. Don't react. And I said, okay, I totally hear you. It will never happen again. If I need something to be done around the house, what is a way that I could do it that you'd be okay with hearing? What's a better way I could do it? Don't. Then we both blacked out and got into a fight. And I don't actually remember what happened, but what transpired was a lot of volume, a lot of harsh words being thrown around, and it was an angry, angry fight. I grabbed my pillow and I stomped down the hall, and I slept in the front room, and I'm crying, right? And we don't talk for 3 days. 3 straight days with kids. How do you do that? The fact that she said that this is an incredible fight, and she's saying this publicly, that they were screaming at the top of their lungs, is a major red flag. For months later, in April, Kristen told Kitty Couric that she and Dax were at each other's throats real bad in quarantine. Dax even leaves their interview halfway through, saying America's sweetheart had some character defects, so they can't even hold it together for an interview. I don't even know why they decide to do interviews. Are you all getting along, though, pretty well? We're getting along good with the kids, and we're getting along good with the adults we're friends with. This has been stressful for Mom and Dad. For Mom and Dad, we've been at each other's throats real bad. Really, real bad over the last couple. Oh yeah. It just ended like 8 minutes ago. Perfect timing. This is as physically close as we've been in a couple days, because we've just found each other revolting. My husband America's sweetheart, has character defects. I'm sorry to let everyone know. What you long for is so much time together, and then you get 24/7 and you're like, oh, this is a lot of time together. We're not good. We're not well practiced at this. We're great at seeing each other 3 hours a day. That works great. I adore you, and you guys are pretty darn similar, so it's not shocking that I adore you both. Well, we adore you too. I can speak for your wife. We adore you. Okay, I'm going to air fry a steak now for the young adults. Another reason why I feel like these two aren't right for each other is because of what Kristen says about their relationship. In September 2024, she describes herself and Dax as polar opposites, saying they are the antithesis of each other. We argue about absolutely everything. Having someone I feel that is very opposite from me is certainly something that I feel. I feel like my real-life husband and I are opposites attract, you know? I feel like that always applies, but that doesn't mean we couldn't make it work or didn't want to make it work. It just meant we did have to have a lot of patience for each other to figure out what the compromises would be, and a general understanding that we're probably going to have different viewpoints on almost everything and figure out a respectful way to have those discussions. Let's talk about last year's viral moment whenever Kristen posted an anniversary tribute to Dax. And she wrote in the caption, "Happy 12th wedding anniversary to the man who once said to me, I would never kill you." A lot of men have killed their wives at certain points. Even though I'm heavily incentivized to kill you, I never would. A lot of people felt like this caption was tone deaf, especially because the month in particular was Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and she's just now talking about how her husband joked about killing her. This person wrote, "Kristen, there's no way you posted this during Domestic Violence Awareness Month. As someone who has survived domestic violence, that's a little triggering. 1, congratulations, but 2, the caption is supposed to be cute, funny, but worldwide, a woman is killed every 10 minutes by their partner. Hashtag stop violence against women." And I was very offended, and then I hit her several times. And then I got beat up, and I guess what? I never opened my mouth again, and you're left with her all day. I do. Not as much. See how he hesitated? Not as much. No. I just have a real commitment to the truth. Not all day. You're not Jim Carrey. You watch a lot of Dateline, and a lot of spouses kill their partners. So that is an outcome you have to consider if you're married. Where's your accessory? My almost didn't cast me. Dax, can you explain this? Care to come? Yeah, you are on a cellular level likable. It's nauseating. In fact, it's hard to stand next to you. And you read it, and then you said, I will be playing this role. And then I said, and you are the boss. Got it. Got it. He wrote me in as his sort of trashy, estranged wife. Fun part. Yeah. He likes me to be a real jerk in weird roles, and then she has to act. Kristen says as far as their relationship goes, they had to have a lot of patience for each other to figure out what the compromises would be, and a general understanding that they would have different viewpoints on almost everything and have to figure out a respectful way to have those discussions. So, they just don't get along and they bicker and they fight, and there's resentment. I mean, whenever Dax decided to launch his podcast, he had his wife Kristen come on, and they spent most of the episode just arguing with each other. That's how they spend their time together. And I can't imagine just choosing misery with someone. And it seems like Kristen's just oddly brainwashed or obsessed with Dax. Well, the very first episode of Armchair Expert was with my wife, and I thought, well, this is a slam dunk. I'll get her in there, knock that out. And as soon as we got going, she was resentful at me because she had wanted to go to Michael's to get some fabric, and it was getting in the way of her trip to Michael's. And we were just bickering, and then she was suspicious I was going to try to out her to get some exclusive. And we just fought for 2 hours, and then we edited it. I was like, oh boy, we're not going to sell many Samsung washing machines with this. And I played it for her. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, should we release this? And she's like, I kind of think it's the antidote to what people think about us. Like, I actually think it's our responsibility to release this. So, weirdly, that became an accident that we just decided to release. And then, we wouldn't have guessed this, but people were like, they loved getting to see that side, like kind of a more real, authentic, vulnerable side. And that kind of informed which direction we ran in. So, I would say in my case, it was like a happy accident in that it was a disaster and people liked that disaster. According to a source, Kristen and Dax are pretty volatile people and can blow up over the smallest issues. Sometimes Kristen or Dax will say something they think is funny, and the other one gets offended. They just don't even get along with each other. They don't even laugh at the same things. Every time I see her on his podcast, it's so cringe. And I'm sweating. In fact, I even put on a red tank top because I know I'm going to start flashing when we start singing. I'm going to take this off. Also, let's make sure your visitor badge is still on. Let's make sure. She wanted to brag that she helped kids today. Oh, that's funny. That's really. I did Children's Hospital. That's sweet. Okay, Gabe. Kristen said from the beginning, Dax has given her a hard time. They got together for about 3 months, and then she knew she was in love with him, but at that point, he was like, yeah, I want to break up. I'm not ready for this kind of commitment yet. Then he started to date around a little bit and realized that she was cooler than the other people and called her back up, and she was just waiting for him. Kristen Bell just seems like such a catch that I don't understand what kind of a hold Dax is over her. Did he break up with you very early on?
He did.
I maybe scared him a little bit because I wanted to spend all of our time together. I was very excited and thinking about it. It breaks my heart. And he said, I'm still casually dating other people. And I was like, because I definitely wasn't. And he said he was very big about it. He said, that's not what you deserve, and that's not what you're asking for, and I'm not going to give you anything half-assed.
Wow.
He almost lost you. Yeah, but did he? I was just waiting for him to come back. Another thing I noticed is that Kristen and Dax love a good podcast. They love to go and be interviewed. They love to constantly be talking about their relationship for better or for mostly worse. I mean, I found a clip of Dax where he talked about how he just did not even have any concern within his relationship with Kristen. He knew that he would never lose her, pretty much that he did not have to do anything to win her over. And it's just kind of arrogant to see him speak this way. Unbridled arrogance in relationships.
I've always been that way.
Really, I don't know how to explain it. I've just always felt very confident in relationships. So I never, ever was like, oh, I hope I can keep Kristen. I was going, do I want to be with a Kristen who has 8 people living in her house for free? Who has to get out of a car when there's a dog that doesn't have a leash and ruin her whole day to rescue the dog? Do I want to be? That's great. She's good, but that's not what I want to do. I'm not that good. I don't want to spend my day finding the owner of a dog. So I wasn't fearful I would lose her. I wasn't certain I wanted to be with someone like that. Even when Dax and Kristen got engaged, they decided to hold off on making it official until the state of California passed the same-sex marriage legislation. Well, I guess that's sweet. Also, is that just an excuse? Like, was that one of their excuses? Like, well, we can wait until the gays can get engaged or married, and then we can go and do that, which, okay, I appreciate it. In 2014, the couple welcomed their second daughter, Delta. And it looks like Dax tweeted and deleted. Delta Bell Shepard is here. She doesn't look like either Kristen or me, but we're going to keep her anyways. Kristen was quoted saying that she and Dax, they don't believe in the one. We don't believe in the fairy tale. We don't believe that you can meet someone and you have perfectly matched personalities. We are opposites, and it has taken a tremendous amount of work and therapy for us to coexist. I feel like relationships just shouldn't be that difficult. Like, should they be that difficult to be together? I feel like relationships are supposed to make your life slightly easier. Sometimes you have therapy moments, but not really. I mean, not the entire time, just to coexist. How does Dax Shepard get Kristen Bell to stay with him? I think I have that answer, and I'm coming with receipts. Watch this video, and then I'll break it down. Okay, you ready for a morally confounding one?
Yeah.
The secret affair. A happily married person has a one-night stand while on a trip. They use protection, never tell their spouse, and the affair never affects their relationship in any way. The marriage remains strong and loving. Is this morally wrong? I mean, I feel I should preface this with, I didn't always feel this way, right? Because when I met you, I was a very jealous person and I was bending to the subconscious rules society had given me of television shows of like, my boyfriend cheated on me. Girl, get him out of the house. No fucking way. And you asked me the question of kind of a would you rather? If I slept with someone versus if I drove our kids drunk, and that put everything in perspective. I was like, if you had an affair, I feel like we could get through that, right? If you drove my kids drunk, yeah, you're packing up. In 2024, Dax said on the Drew Barrymore show that rumors about them, him and Kristen, being Hollywood swingers were false, laughing that friends texted to ask why they hadn't been invited to the alleged swingers party. Sounds kind of like Diddy vibes. Now, their relationship does remain intact. This article reported, while intense, they're together. They fight. They make up. And they go back to therapy. That's how they work. I hope that therapist is paid well for having to deal with them. I wonder if they both just write a list in their phone of things and bring it up in therapy. I mean, maybe that's just normal, but I hope that therapist gets paid enough to deal with all that, if it's anything like the podcast clips that we've been seeing. Dax has also found himself in trouble in other ways. For example, he was out here liking a picture of Heidi Klum's picture, which was a little bit scandalous. People took note. It turns out he's got an obsession with Lisa Bonet. And whenever it was announced that she was, going to be single, she was going through a divorce, he got a little too excited. Again, these people love to do podcasts. Here he is talking on the Halle Berry podcast. Here's why those things are so sticky and enjoyable. Because the love of my life was Lisa Bonet. She is the #1 most beautiful human to ever walk on planet Earth. Mickey Rourke was the stud of all studs. If you were a white dude, that's about as good as it got. You looked at him in 9.5 weeks in Diner. He was so fucking cool. So, I'm seeing this dude I would love to be. He's with this woman that's the most beautiful of all time. And you're like, they really fuck? You're like, yes, I'm so happy for both of them. The two hottest people did it. But how are you going to do that with people? I have no idea. The camera's rolling. I don't know. That even heightens the craziness. I know, but you've heard it, too. The guy with the sexiest eyes in the world and the other most beautiful person in the world didn't actually have sex. In March 2024, Kristen Bell made headlines for the wrong reasons because she revealed to Kelly Clarkson that her daughter enjoys drinking non-alcoholic beer because Dax is sober. He does not drink. So when they're fighting, it's these crazy sober fights where they're screaming at each other. But anyways, I guess their daughter likes the non-alcoholic beer. My kids have ordered non-alcoholic beers at restaurants before, which sounds insane if you don't know, because context is important. We've learned that over the last few years. So, like my husband and I, when we walked the babies at night in our neighborhood when my daughter was really little, he is a recovering addict, but he likes non-alcoholic beer. So, he'd pop it open, he'd have her on his chest, and we'd walk and look at the sunset. So, as a baby, she was pawing at it, and sometimes she would suck on the rim of it. So, I think it feels to her like something special, something daddy, something family. And we've been there's no alcohol in it. Somebody said that beer is an acquired taste. Why would they want their young children acquiring it? I didn't get a taste for beer until I was beyond 21. There have been so many stupid stories about their kids. It seems like they just say crap for attention, which is true. Kristen has gone on to Jimmy Kimmel and said that she let her kids out into a foreign country. I mean, granted, it was in Copenhagen, which is a very safe country or city to be in. It's in Denmark. But anyways, shout out to all the people in Copenhagen. But she let her kids run freely there, which also got people upset and concerned.